All right, good morning, y'all. Should I do that angle maxing thing like Wes Watson does, where he gets like the shoulder close to the video and make his chest look bigger? Yeah, I'm just being a clown. Well, here we go. This is my sparring video. This first gentleman I'm going against, he's got many, many years of experience, and I'm pretty new. And I asked him, we talked before, I asked him to go pretty hard on me. But, you know, he's been doing this long enough where he also knows not to just, like, tune me up or haul off and start beating the crap out of me. When you're doing sparring, you kind of have an agreement with your opponent, and you talk to him, and you ask, like, what do you want to work on? Do you want to try some stuff out? Like, what kind of resistance are you looking for? How hard do you want to go? And in this case, I asked him to help me tune up my defense, which is, you know, keeping my arms up. I have a tendency to drop them, especially when I'm kicking. And, you know, I did want to try to get him too. I am working on offense at the same time, but primarily, yeah, I asked him to punish me. Like, punish me, Daddy. So he did. He got me a couple of times. He hit me hard once where I honestly thought he broke my nose. I've had my nose broken 4 times, which is part of the reason why I sound like this. The other reason is because I dropped a barbell on my neck and almost crushed myself. But, you know, here we go. This is I waited all week for this specific night. We're going to spar tonight, too, as well. Usually, every time you spar, there's like a different... The coach will pick 4 people out of the group to go into the ring, and those guys, they gear up and they go at it. And then everybody else, you're either paired up with somebody with a lot of experience, or you're paired up with somebody that has less experience than you. So I went against 2 guys that could have battered me unrecognizable, and I went up against 2 guys that are either have my level of experience or lower. And there was one guy that was brand new. It was like his first week. So in that case, you know, we had a little discussion beforehand. And usually with those guys, I'll let them hit me, and I'll tell them you can hit me harder. Or like I'll egg them on a little, you know, try to get them to get over that fear of, you know, contact. The other guys, you don't have to. You get exactly what you ask for. You tell someone to hit you, they're gonna do it. We had an uneven amount of dance partners, so I didn't have somebody to pair up with for a couple of minutes. And I'll be honest with you, after going hard with him, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll just hit the bag for a minute. I went up against 2 guys that were advanced students, and both of them, like, here's the cool thing. Everybody that I've met so far in this gym is they're very willing and excited to teach people that have less experience than them, and that's really awesome. I haven't run into too many people that are, you know, too good for your time. Now, there's some of the guys that are some of the professional fighters, some of the really, really advanced students. They're a little more measured with their time. You know, they're there to train. You know, they have goals. But even those guys, if you want to go up and ask them, they'll take the time out and they'll help you. And then you can stay after the class, too, and work one-on-one with a lot of these guys. I'm going to sign up for some private lessons, and those are, you know, you pay for by the hour, and you can choose. You can ask who you want to train with, whether it's your kids, your wife, you, and then they'll pair you up with the trainer of your request, and then you can spend an hour working with them, and that's where you can really hone and learn. If you're struggling, like I am, like say switching to my left, so I can spend an hour working with somebody, and we can just work specifically on that. Or if you're not turning your kicks over properly, if you're or whatever you need help with. If you're totally brand new, I totally recommend doing the private training. We've signed up for some, and we're going to go ahead and go through with that. This gym's really awesome too. My wife is recovering from surgery, so they said that she could, if she shows up on the days that we're training, she can use the gym, and they have access to a physical therapist trainer over there that said that they'd be willing to help her out totally free, just because I'm paying to have my family train there. I really like this facility. It's really family oriented, and I think I'm going to be sticking with it. I like it a lot. This is the other guy that he's one of the more advanced students, and he's one of the ones I asked to kind of help me work on specific things. Basically, I'll give you an example. Say you do drop your hands a lot. Well, what he's going to do is basically he's going to hit me every time I drop my hands. But he knows I'm exposed, so he's not going to just like, he's not going to end my life. Or, I'll say, hey, I'm trying to land a specific type of kick. And so he'll allow me to do that kick, but he'll also help me work on the technique so that it does land. He'll block it or catch it or do whatever, and then he'll give you a critique. He'll say, hey, you need to, you're telegraphing, or you're not turning over properly, things of that nature. So you're having a discussion with your dance partner. This is kind of what it is dancing. I've had some comments where guys are like, you guys are really slow, you don't look like you can fight, whatever. We're going like 50% here. You know what I mean? You're going, you're hitting, you're moving, you're trying to pull things off, but I hardly would say like it's representative of a real engagement. Like when you get in the ring and pad up and put them out. Well, I have a mouth guard in, but you know what I mean? Like there's hard sparring, which is like guys getting ready to fight or whatever. And then there's this kind of sparring, which is where you're trying to learn, you're trying to become more proficient. And this is really fun because you will get punished. If you leave yourself open, they will hit you. And it doesn't feel good after 3 or 4 times. I think this right here is the kind of sparring people should be doing weekly, because it gets you over that whatever hang-ups you have. This will help you get over it, and you'll become way, way, way more proficient. And it's fun. This guy's pretty cool. He told me, he's like, I'm not here to learn how to. I don't want to be a fighter. I'm not gonna ever compete. I work full time, and I'm just here to have fun. But he's a serious student. He does actually want to learn, and he wants to become proficient. His motivations aren't to be, he's not trying to get in the ring and kill somebody. He wants to learn to do cool stuff. Like, he wants to be able to throw those cool switch kicks. And so I'm going to let him practice, and I tried a few things out that I probably wouldn't try against the more experienced students, like an axe kick You know, that's axe kicks are really cool if you can pull them off. If you can kick really high, you get your foot over someone's head and bring it down on them. But it's not a technique you want to pull against somebody that's really proficient, because you're going to wind up on the floor and it's going to be a bad day for you. So, okay, so him and I are almost like anime fighting. Like, we're trying cool stuff out. And I'm going to provide resistance and hit you back, and you're going to do the same to me, but we're not. We're going to allow each other to, like, try to do some stuff, if that makes sense. So, a lot of people have been asking me, if you're getting serious about trying to train Muay Thai, boxing, martial arts, whatever, and you're also a power lifter, doesn't one take away from the other? And the answer is yes. If you pour all of your resources into one thing, you can't, you need all those resources. You can't focus, you can't serve two masters. You have to really, really hone in on one thing specifically. And with me being a power lifter, I'm going to be competing on March 15th. Yeah, it is the 15th. That's my primary focus. As a matter of fact, starting on the 1st. Is today the 1st, or is it the last day of the month? Whatever. Starting on the 1st, I'll be doing the Candido 6 week. So the specificity and the intensity of my training for powerlifting is going to go up significantly, which means I'm not going to be able to pour my resources into Muay Thai, at least until this competition's over. So if anything, I'm going to be dialing back a little bit on the Muay Thai. So I get such good cardio from it, and it's so much fun that I don't want to stop training, but I can't, the more I give to one, the more I take away from the other. And the other question is does that kind of training take away from your top end strength? You're doing a lot of cardio, you're doing a lot of body weight stuff. Does that take away from the powerlifting? I would say no. If anything, it's enhanced it. It's made it better. So with all the stretching and all the working of the different types of muscles that you would normally work when you're training bench, squat, and deadlift, I feel like I'm a much more stable platform. Like I've built up a lot of the areas that I neglect when I'm focused on the big three lifts. Like that, my hip pain's gone, my ankles feel better, my knees feel better. In a weird way, everything hurts, but it's more like that soreness you get from working out really well, as opposed to physical pain, because something's about to break. So it's a good pain. I can tell like I'm getting really, really good training, and this is also a great way for you to maintain your weight class. You're burning those calories, especially if you're going hard. And you can also do that kind of training as hard or as soft as you want to. So a lot of the guys, when you start the class and you're doing push-ups, sit-ups, jump rope, that kind of thing, and at the end of class, when they try to burn you out and you're doing the cardio stuff, there's a lot of people that skip out on that. So if all you did was just the training, you're not really burning a ton of calories, opposed to if you do everything completely. Well, it's the same thing with lifting. If all I did was just bench, deadlift, and squat, I'm going to get stronger, but I'm not going to burn a ton of calories, so it's not going to be great for fat loss. So if you think lifting is going to shred all that weight off, it's not. You have to, if your goal is to get stronger and lose weight, not only do you have to start looking at your diet, but you got to look at burning those calories. You got to look at getting that metabolism going. You got to look at getting that heart rate up. Just doing the 3 lifts is not going to be enough. So how much do you have to do? Not a lot, but you got to do more than just the 3 lifts. So doing something like this and adding a heavy bag to your routine, it can really supplement that. It can make it easier, but you got to do strategically. Lately I've just been having a good time. I've been doing my 3 lifts. I've been doing them with the idea of trying to PR and progress. but I haven't been laser focused, if that makes sense. I've been doing a lot of experimenting, farting around, making, trying to make content for YouTube. So there's a lot of stuff that I've been doing that I'm going to eliminate as I get closer to competition. You're going to see me really, really get dialed in. I'm probably going to get a little bigger. Usually I tend to beef up as I get closer to competition. And then usually the night, like a week before, I'll start a water cut so that I make weight when I compete. So you'll see a little bit of a body transformation. Nothing like too crazy. There's only so much you can do in 3 months. But you'll see it. You'll see me start to really, really hone in. More of one thing, less of another. And then as we get closer to competition, that's when I'll start doing some pretty crazy sets with some pretty crazy weights. So if you stick around, it's going to be a good time. Unless you hate powerlifting, then it's going to suck. I would love to hear from you guys what kind of content you guys like. Some people just like to listen to me talk for some reason. Other people, they really like the lifting. There's not a lot of people that have expressed that they're too interested in the combat sports. And that's cool. I do hope you stick around for the powerlifting portion, because that's really where I'm going to be spending most of my efforts here in the next coming 3 months. Man, I had my camera set up. I wanted my daughter to film for me this specific session, so it was really, really hard to get footage because the coach had us all the way on the other end, and I had to zoom in, and there's a bunch of people in the way. It is what it is. I said 3 months. It's more like 6 weeks. 6 weeks of competition, not 3 months. Man, I'm a little apprehensive about it because it's like, this happens every single time. Every single time I compete, I get the jitters, just like it was my first time competing. And I guess, I don't know if it's like that for everybody, but it just takes me back to being like a school kid. I think all this stuff helps to keep me young, maybe not physically, but at heart.
Be nice.
I just want to, I spent my entire adult life grinding and being serious, and it's like I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that's fun to hang around with. So this is a big part of that, and you guys are a big part of that. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut this one short because I have to get to work, but I love you guys. I'll see you on the battlefield. I'm going to try to live stream today. I'm going to try to do some deadlifts, so stay tuned for that. I tried to do it last night. I got set a stream up, but I had to cancel it because some stuff came up. Unfortunately, life happens sometimes. I'll see you guys on the battlefield.